Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we are going to start our new chapter in the series of Polity through MCQ series, and these MCQs are directly based on the book M. Laxmikanth. Now we are going to study this chapter of State Council of Minister in line with the Council of Minister chapters that we have studied earlier in the chapter of President. Now we know that the Constitution of India envisage a parliamentary form of government in which there is a Council of Minister that is headed by the Prime Minister to aid and advise the President, and the provision is given under Article 74 of the Constitution. Similarly, as there is federal structure in India, so there is Council of Minister at the union level. Similarly, there is a State Council of Minister which is headed by a Chief Minister. The chapter of Chief Minister has been discussed earlier. The video has already been uploaded. So the State Council of Minister is there, which is headed by the Chief Minister to aid and advise the Governor. Okay, so two articles are important in line in this chapter. The first one is Article 163 and the second one is Article 164. So Article 163 deals with the status of the Council of Ministers, and Article 164 deals with the qualification, oath, salaries and allowances of the minister. So let us start. Let me give you a brief introduction and brief facts about this chapter, and straight away then we will move to the questions. Now, Article 163, you need to just know this article in case अगर आप state PSC का exams you are preparing for any state PSC exam, straight away these articles can be asked. ठीक है? So what does Article 163 says? So it says that there should be a Council of Minister to aid and advise the Governor. The different provisions made under Article 163, that is that the Council of Minister, there is a Council of Minister in the state which is headed by the Chief Minister to aid and advise the Governor. Okay. Also, the second point to be noted under Article 163 is that the advice that is given by the ministers shall not be inquired into a court. Okay. Now, Article 164. Only two of the provisions are important in Article 163. I hope you have understood. Now, let's talk about Article 164, in which other provision as to ministers have given. So, what are the provisions? Let us see. Some of the facts you need to just know ताकि आप eliminate कर पाओ exams में. ठीक है? Now, the first point is that Chief Minister shall be appointed by the Governor, and the other ministers are appointed by the Governor on the advice of the Chief Ministers. Okay. Second provision is there. So there are few states where the Governor appoints a tribal welfare minister. Now, which are the states? So the name of the states are Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. Okay. Now, Jharkhand was separated from Bihar in the year 2000. So Bihar was separated from this list. It means that there was no provision now, as per now, till date, till I am talking about today, no provision is there for Bihar for appointing a tribal welfare minister, and this tribal welfare minister is appointed by the Governor. Okay, the exclusion of Bihar has been implemented by the 94th Amendment Act. Okay. Now, the second provision under Article 164 is that the total number of ministers, including the Chief Minister, shall not be 15% of the total strength of the State Legislative Assembly. Okay, the Chief Minister is included in this 15%. Okay. Now, what is the minimum criteria? So, minimum there shall not be less than 12 members, and this 12 members wala provision was added by the 91st Amendment Act. Now, the third provision is a member of either house of the state legislature. Now, may it be State Legislative Assembly, and in some cases or 6 states there are State Legislative Council. ठीक है? Any of the candidate which is disqualified on the ground of defection, and this defection, if you know, is mentioned under Schedule 10 of the Constitution. Anti-defection law was introduced by 52nd Amendment Act. So any minister who, not any minister, but any member who is excluded or who is disqualified on the grounds of defection shall also be disqualified to be appointed as a minister. Okay. These provision you need to know. Now next is the ministers hold office during the pleasure of governor. This you know. ठीक है. And the council of ministers are collectively responsible to the state legislative assembly. In individual and collectively they are responsible to the state legislature. Okay. Now then comes the next article, that is article 166, the conduct of business of the government of a state. So all the executive actions of the state are taken on the name of governor. This you know to know. And the governor shall make rules and regulations for more convenient transaction of the business of the house. Now then comes article 167, the duties of CM. There are 3 duties of the CM. This I have explained separately in the chief minister's lecture. Article was also discussed and the provisions were also discussed. So in this chapter we are not going to study this in detail. ठीक है, अगर आपको देखना है तो you can watch the previous video. All of this I have discussed there. Then comes article 177, that is right of ministers and respect of the house. Now the ministers have right to speak, right to take part in the proceeding of the both houses. State legislative assemblies they can take part, and in other cases, or the 6 states in which there is also state legislative councils, वहाँ पे भी they can take part, but they do not have right to vote. Okay. Now the next is about the nature of advice by ministers. In the article 163, I already told you, the advice that is tendered by the ministers to the governor is not inquirable in the court of law. So the governor को जो advice देते हैं, these cannot be inquired into the court of law. Now what about the appointment of ministers? So the ministers are appointed by the governor. Okay, and the ministers hold office during the pleasure of governor, but the governor has to take advice from the CM while appointing these ministers. Okay. Now what is the oath and salary of the minister? So the oath of the minister is administered by the governor, and if I talk about the salary of the minister, it is to be determined by the state legislative assembly. Okay. What are the responsibilities of minister? Now the ministers are collectively responsible under article 164 to whom? To the state legislative assembly. And if I talk about the individual responsibility, so article 164 also speaks about the individual responsibility of the council of minister. The minister holds office during the pleasure of governor, so they can be removed any time by the governor, but advice of CM has to be taken. Okay. What about the composition of council? I already told you, 15% of the total number of the state legislative assembly members, and this 15% also includes the CM. ठीक है. The question can be asked in the examination that the 15% excluding CM, one option will be there where they'll say that excluding the CM the criteria is of 15%, and second option they will give including the chief minister 15% का criteria है. Then you need to know that it is including the chief minister. Okay, so we are done with the explanation part. I have briefly and I have very smoothly explained you this. I hope you will be able to answer all the questions. Now let's move straight away to the questions. Now the first question is, consider the following statement. We have to tell the correct statement. The governor cannot function without the state council of ministers. Yes, the statement is absolutely true. As per article 163 of the constitution, there should be a council of ministers that is headed by the chief minister to aid and advise the governor. So the advice that is given by the council of ministers to the governor, it is necessary for the governor to act in that capacity. Okay, so the first statement is true. Let us see the second statement. A person who is not a member of the state legislature cannot be appointed as a minister. This is absolutely wrong. A person can be appointed as a minister, but within 6 months he had to join any house, may it be state legislative assembly or may it be state legislative council, in case that state has a legislative council. Okay, ये ध्यान रखना, a minister can hail from any of the house, may it be legislative assembly or legislative council. So second statement is wrong. We will eliminate this. Two options are eliminated straight away. Next is, the state council of minister can function for some time even after the death or the resignation of the CM. No, as I have as per Article 163, the Council of Ministers is headed by the Chief Minister. So if there is no head, how can the Council of Ministers function? It cannot. So the third statement is also wrong. So ultimately we have come to our answer, that is only one. But let us see the next question. In the absence of the Chief Minister, only the Home Minister can preside over the emergency meeting of the State Council of Ministers? No, not at all. The Chief Minister nominates a person who is going to head the Council of Ministers. So it is not the right of the Home Minister to preside over the emergency meeting. So fourth statement is also wrong. Correct statement here is only one. Let us now see question number 2. This is, there is a constitutional requirement to have a minister in charge of the tribal welfare for the state of. Now this is mentioned in Article 164 that the governor is to appoint a minister of tribal welfare for 4 states. I have mentioned it: मध्य प्रदेश, उड़ीसा, छत्तीसगढ़ एंड झारखंड. अर्लियर मैंने बताया था आपको बिहार का एग्जाम्पल कि बिहार वॉज ऑल्सो देयर, बट बाई 94th अमेंडमेंट Bihar was excluded from having a tribal welfare minister for the state. So correct answer is C. Next question is, some state government have beside cabinet minister and minister of state parliamentary secretaries also. These parliamentary secretaries who are also member of the state legislature are appointed by. So most of the members of the council of minister or the cabinet, these are appointed by the governor. So when the secretaries are also appointed, they are appointed by the governor only. Okay, B is the correct answer here. Next is, the salaries and allowances of the council of the minister of the state government are paid from, obviously these are paid from the consolidated fund of the state. Okay, the basic of the consolidated fund etc. I have taught in the parliament chapter. So if you haven't watched it, the video is already on the channel. It is around 1 hour 50 minutes video. So all the concepts regarding the parliament chapter, budgets and the funds of the consolidated fund, contingency fund, all have been explained there. Okay, so you can watch that video for further description. Now D is the correct answer to this question. See, many of the things are very similar in the chapter of parliament and the state legislature. Okay, so that is why I have earlier explained you the council of minister regarding the president, and then I have gave you the reference of the state council of minister. Now, which of the following articles of the constitution are or constitution of India are relevant to analyze the constitutional provision that deal with the relationship of the governor with the state council of ministers? So already in the explanation part I have explained you with articles that there are basically article 163, 164 and 167. Let me make you revise it once again. Now article 163 tells us about that there should be a council of ministers that is headed by the chief minister to aid and advise the governor. Then comes article 164 in which other provisions as to ministers are mentioned. जिसमें वो tribal welfare ministers वाला भी portion है. Next is article 167. It talks about the duties of the chief minister to furnish the information that is sought by the governor. So B is the correct answer. You should have a basic idea about the articles as well. Next is, the collective responsibility of the cabinet signifies unity and coordination among the member of the state council of minister. Yes, as the state council of minister is collectively responsible to that of the state legislative assembly. Next is, it is the prerogative of the chief minister to select or drop a member from the cabinet. Yes, the statement is also absolutely true, but the reason is not related to assertion. That is why A and R are individually true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Okay, so it is the sole prerogative of the chief minister, although the ministers are appointed by the governor and they hold office during the pleasure of the governor, but the removal is based on the verdict of the chief minister only. Now next is, we have to tell here the correct statement. So what are the statement? All the decisions of the state council of minister relating to the administration of the state must be communicated to the governor. This is absolutely true. Next is, the governor can call for important information relating to proposals for legislation. Yes, this is article 167. The governor can direct that any matter on which the decision has been taken by a minister should be placed before the state council of minister. Yes, this is also a provision under article 167. Next is the governor has the right to address and send message to the state council of minister to elicit specific information. No, the governor has not right to address every time, but there are two provisions in this regard. Start of each session and the first session after the general elections, the governor can address the house. Okay, so correct answer is 1, 2 and 3. Fourth one is incorrect. Next is, in which of the following provisions of the Constitution of India is the principle of collectively responsibility of the Council of Ministers is enshrined? So the collective responsibility is mentioned under Article 164 of the Constitution. ठीक है, 163 article is mentioned, is related to the Council of Minister to aid and advise the governor. Article 167 tells us about the duties of the chief minister as in relation to the governor. So 164 is correct. Let us now move to the next question. The minister in the state could be prosecuted only with the approval of the governor because they enjoy certain immunities under the provisions of the Constitution. There are immunities given to the minister. For example, in Article 163, we have seen that when the Council of Minister advises the governor on something, that advice is not tendered in the court of law. So this is a type of immunity that the Council of Ministers get. Okay, C is the correct answer here. Let's now move to the next question. The minister in the Council of Ministers at the state level are appointed by, so it's easy, these are appointed by the governor on the advice of chief minister. Okay, let's now move to the next question. This question is of assertion and reason. The strength of the state council of minister has not been specified in the constitution. Yes, it is not specified. 91st Constitutional Amendment Act details about the strength being 15%, including the chief minister, of the total strength of the state legislative assembly. Okay, the number of pressure operates in determination of the strength of ministry. Yes, it is a political thing also. If there is a government of coalition, okay, so obviously the number of the council of minister is going to be a larger number as to serve the political needs of the parties and political aspirations of the different coalition government. But the minimum number of member is 12. Okay, that is mentioned. Then this provision was added by the 91st Amendment Act only. Okay, so both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Next is question number 12. Which of the following are not mentioned in the Constitution of India? The Council of Ministers headed by a Chief Minister. Is this mentioned in the Constitution? Just a second. Is this mentioned in the Constitution? No, it is not. Collective responsibility of the State Council of Ministers. Is this mentioned in the Constitution? No, it is not mentioned. Other thing is resignation of the state which are not mentioned. Okay, mentioned ही not mentioned बोल रहा है. So Council of Minister headed by the Chief Minister, it is mentioned under Article 163. Collective responsibility is mentioned under Article 164. Not mentioned about resignation of the state minister and office of the deputy chief minister. This is not mentioned under Constitution. These both are mentioned under respective Article 163 and 164. So not mentioned is that option 3 and 4. Let's now move to the next question. Question number 13. According to the Constitution of India, if the governor so requires, it shall be the duty of the chief minister to submit for the reconsideration of the State Council of Ministers any matter on which the decision has been taken by a minister, but which has not been considered by the council. The statement is directly taken from Article 164 and it's related to the collective responsibility of the State Council of the Ministers. Okay, this I have explained you earlier. Next is question number 14. The accountability or responsibility of the Chief Minister and Cabinet to the State Legislative Assembly is direct, continuous and collective. Okay? Collective responsibility is mentioned under Article 164. So straight away you can take the correct answer here. Next is question number 15. According to Article 163, that is, there should be a Council of Ministers headed by the Chief Minister to aid and advise the governor. Which of the following statement relating to the question whether any and if so what advice was tendered by minister to the governor would be correct? First option is it shall not be inquired into any court of law, and this statement is absolutely correct. Inquired into Supreme Court? No. Can be inquired into all courts? No. It cannot be inquired. It shall not be inquired. ठीक है, 15 का A is right. Next is how are the salaries and allowances of the state minister determined? So these are determined by the state legislature only. This I've also told you. So 16B is the right answer. So with this we have done and finished with the chapter State Council of Minister. So if you loved this video, do like this video and do mention your comments in the comment section, so as I know ki if I am able to comprehend these things to you in an efficient manner. Thank you for watching.